Thank you so much, Vice Chair Skolton. Thank you to our fantastic whip, Catherine Clark, and to our amazing chairwoman of the DWC, of the Democratic Women's Caucus, Teresa Leger Fernandez, and Marcy Kaptur from the great state of Ohio as well. We're here for a very simple reason. We're here to let the American people know what a massive gut punch this Republican budget would be for women and families on every level, slashing the necessary programs that families depend on to survive, raising costs for American families and making life much harder, not easier. I want to focus specifically on Medicaid because this is the place where Republicans have decided they're going to take the most money through massive cuts. Medicaid is the most essential health care program in America. It serves 72 million Americans in red states and blue states. It is not a partisan program. It pays for nearly half of all births in the United States, including, by the way, a whopping 64% of births in Speaker Mike Johnson's home state of Louisiana. It also pays for 60% of nursing home stays across the country, and it makes it possible for kids to see a doctor when they get sick, for moms to afford the medications that their kids need, for parents to get necessary care for chronic conditions, and for grandparents to get the long-term care that they need. But despite all of this, despite knowing that so many of their own constituents in Republican districts and states across the country need Medicaid to live, Republicans are proposing to cut at least $625 billion, that's in the current bill, from Medicaid in their most recent proposal. Those cuts would be absolutely devastating. In fact, the Nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office just estimated that just from the Medicaid portion alone in the bill, over 10 million people would lose Medicaid coverage and 7.6 million people would be completely uninsured. And that's not including all the other cuts to health care from other parts of the bill. So you have to ask, why? Why? Why cut millions of people from essential health care in one of the most popular and necessary programs in the country? It's all so that the wealthiest billionaires like Elon Musk can get a $7 trillion tax break. $7 trillion. That would be the largest transfer of wealth from working people to billionaires in decades. Republicans can make up whatever names they want for the cuts to Medicaid, but a cut to Medicaid is a cut to Medicaid. Whether you call it instituting work requirements or cutting provider taxes, these are all cuts to Medicaid that would throw millions of people off of their health insurance. They don't want you to know that instituting these cuts wouldn't get anyone back to work. That's because everyone who is able to work is already working. And so women, we know what this means, right? It means that Republicans will cut off Americans who rely on Medicaid because they're doing the work of looking after our kids and looking after our aging parents. They can't just go get another job. This is their work. So don't be fooled. These cuts mean that people will die. They mean that millions of families and children will face massive medical bills that they can't pay in a country where already 1 in 3 Americans owes medical debt that totals $220 billion. They mean that women and children and families will stop going to the doctor completely because they can't get the care they need and deserve to get in the richest country in the world. The Republican budget is a betrayal of poor families, working families, middle-class families, all to benefit the wealthiest few. And we Democrats will fight it with everything that we have. We are not backing down